Welcome back, folks, to a special edition holiday episode that will round out the month of November in a collective episode, kind of your lightning round for review episode. We're going to get into the latest from Kenneth Branagh in Belfast. We have the latest biopic in King Richard. We got the Ghostbusters coming back in Ghostbusters Afterlife. And we also got the latest from Ridley Scott, House of Gucci. Thank you very much. If you're a first-time watcher, go ahead, press subscribe, and hit the notification bell notifying you of all the content and reviews to this channel. Press like, and if you felt compelled to, go ahead, leave a comment down below. Welcome back, and thank you for choosing Mann Cinema Reviews. So the first film we got is the latest black and white shot biopic, semi-autobiographical. This takes place in Northern Ireland in the 1960s, in a tumultuous time in that area. We have the Protestants not cohabitating well with the Catholics, and a family in the middle of it. And it's just a very personal account. I feel like Kenneth Branagh, just being an amazing actor and director, the film's just a amalgamation of the times, the music. I really like the way that this film is shot. It's got a great cast as well. We have Jamie Dornan, Syrian Hines. We have newcomer Jude Hill, Judi Dench. It's just a great cast here. It's very personal, like I said. It's a coming-of-age story about this little boy and his mother and father. His father goes away a lot for work across the pond in England. He just wants to do better for his family, but his family just wants to be in Belfast, but again, it's a tumultuous time. There's an uprising of sorts. Not every Protestants are against Catholics, but certain groups, certain sects really want to air out the Catholic community. They sure make them feel not welcome. So again, it brings about films of yesteryear. I really felt like an older audience could really appreciate it, especially being a period piece in the 60s. It's just a great family film, but doesn't hold its punches. It's rough around the edges, but it has so much heart, it has so much life to it, that I really think that it's one of Kenneth Branagh's best films. And this guy made Hamlet, so he has other commercial films, Thor. He just brings that very Shakespearean touch to it, that I feel like this is just a little bit more intimate, and that's what I liked about the film. I like that you see the grandparents and the way that they interact. The mother and father, although they have their children, two boys, one younger, the other one older. They really shelter them from the dangers of the world and the prejudices in the area. But I really like the way that the film is in the perspective of the younger boy. And he goes to the movies a lot with his dad. They watch Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I believe the grandparents are along for the ride too, and it's just great to capture the period piece as well. Again, like I said, it's very intimate. I didn't have too much problems. I think that the film doesn't really have a concrete stance politically, but it doesn't really have to. I think it more so focuses on the emotional side, and I really like that about the film, if you capture the human experience, and that's what I like most about this film. I will have to recommend Belfast and give it a strong 4 stars. And next we got the new director. He's directed a couple of films, Ronaldo Marcus Green. His previous film hasn't fared very well, but it was also a biopic starring Mark Wahlberg. Joe Bell, I did not see that. It came out earlier in the summer, but this film is a definite improvement. This is King Richard telling the life of Venus and Serena Williams when they were younger, growing up in Compton, California. Their father was very rigorous in his training. He had this almost 100-page plan for his prodigal daughters in tennis, and he's really just wanting to reach out to tennis pros to see if he can get a trainer for his daughters, because he wants to take them to the next level. But he is definitely stuck in his ways, and when he does gain access to a personal pro tennis trainer in Tony Goldwyn, we see how the film develops, of how he pushes his daughters, of how he pushes the trainers that come in contact with his daughters, but he wants what's best. And this film stars Will Smith in one of his greatest portrayals. I really think that this is one of his strongest acting roles to date, and I really think that all praise is due to his performance. This film is very well done. I would say that it probably plays it safe. Thematically, it doesn't have too much of bite to it. It doesn't have too much glitz and glamour. It's not very glossy. It kind of just tells it how it happened. But it doesn't need to aspire to be grander or edgier. It just needs to have that heart to it. And this is very much like Belfast. I think this is a feel-good family film. It's very inspiring. It's great to see what lengths that the father of Venus and Serena Williams goes to. He wants what's best, but he wants it his way. It's just great all around, and I think that the younger cast here is great. Sanaya Sidney and Demi Singleton playing Venus and Serena respectively, and I think they do a great job. It's just a great film. Like I said, it's very true to its thematic elements. I just think that it's a little bit too by the numbers, but it has a lot of heart, and that's what it has going for it, especially being a one-man show in Will Smith, and I really think that he's going for the Oscar in this. It is currently in theaters, but you can also stream it on HBO Max, and I too will have to give this film a strong 4 stars. Very solid film, and I definitely recommend. Now going to lighter fare with Ghostbusters Afterlife. This is directed by Jason Reitman, the son of director Ivan Reitman, who directed the first 2 original Ghostbusters. His son is taking on the reins of a kind of reboot. I'm glad to see that Jason Reitman takes the thematic elements that his father started years ago, decades ago at this point, I think closer to 30 years. But I like what he does in breathing new life in Ghostbusters Afterlife. We have a new cast here. Paul Rudd is very strong in this film. The new team that we got here, and that's in a much younger cast with Finn Wolfhard, McKenna Grace. Again, this is starring Carrie Coon as Callie Spangler. It's a story where she inherits the farmland of her father, who just recently passed. We see in the opening the death and what ensues. Definitely paranormal activity going on, if you know what I mean. and she has 2 children, Trevor and Phoebe, and they make up the kind of new Ghostbusters team, along with another kid in the town that they moved to. It's kind of in a remote area, country area, small population, but this small town gets rocked by paranormal activity, and I really like what this film does. Again, it breathes new life. It has the essence of the original film. It pulls from both the first film and its sequel, with some surprising results. It doesn't really knock it out of the park. I don't believe that it is of the upper echelon or just the quality level of the first 2, but I really do like what Jason Reitman is doing in his version, and I think this is a great way to kind of pass the torch. And I think Ivan Reitman could be proud of what his son does in this new film, and maybe it turns into a franchise, and it certainly is set up to do so. I like what it does in bringing homage to past characters, and I won't say more, but stay tuned. You want to see a post and mid-credit scene that really brings it all together, and it really wraps up this series well. And if they do more films, I again wouldn't be mad at it. I think that maybe I think there's a lot of retread. I think there's a lot of obvious homage or certain things that they want to bring back from the originals that aren't unnecessary. You don't need to kind of recycle these things, but I like what they do with it. It just seems like there's just obvious retread going on, and that was my biggest gripe. The film does have some lulls to it. It's not always entertaining. It has heart. There are certain scenes that are not as exciting or not as funny. It kind of feels disjointed. Well, like I said, it has a lot of heart, and I like what the film is doing with the homage of it all. So with that, I do give Ghostbusters Afterlife a 3.5. I think this is somewhat of a winner, and I wouldn't be mad at any possible sequels. Now we're gonna round out the episode with the latest from Ridley Scott. It's one of my most anticipated films this year, in House of Gucci. Like I said, I think Ridley is really going for the Oscars this year with either The Last Duel or House of Gucci. I think that the House of Gucci has more of a chance because I think I see a lot of success. Hopefully we can see how it does this weekend at the box office. But if it is a critical and commercial darling, I really think that Lady Gaga will probably be nominated. I wouldn't be mad at Adam Driver being nominated. I think everybody brings it. This has an amazing supporting cast of Jared Leto, Jeremy Irons, and Al Pacino as well. And I think that the majority of this cast is great, with the exception of one, but we'll get to it. But this film deals with the fashion empire known as Gucci. This is told in the perspective of Patricia Reggiani, and that is Lady Gaga's character, marrying into the Gucci family, coming from humble beginnings. And it goes into deceit, it goes into lies, it goes into murder, and it's very compelling. I like what Ridley Scott is doing with the look of it. He is definitely capturing the 80s, in which this is mostly set in. I like the cast, but the film is nearly 3 hours long, and I didn't necessarily feel the running time, especially within the first 2 acts. I think it was very solid, but you definitely see the seams cutting loose towards the end. I think that there are certain scenes that could have been edited down. We didn't necessarily need that running time, and it slows down considerably in the third act. But like I said, I think Lady Gaga is great. Adam Driver as Maurizio Gucci, very solid. I think they have such great chemistry. I like the music in this film. Al Pacino, surprisingly, is very good playing Adam Driver's uncle, the more eccentric uncle who's definitely at the top of the business. His father is ailing. You can tell that he is sick, and definitely does not play into the Gucci. He's more of the name. He was once an actor, but he's living too much in the past, and there is definitely a falling out, especially when Adam Driver's character marries Lady Gaga's character. Jeremy Irons disapproves of this, but Adam Driver's Maurizio is definitely set. He's smitten. He doesn't care of his standings with the family. If he's cut off, he's fine. Working for the Patricia's family, cleaning transportation buses. He couldn't care less, but Patricia kind of pushes Maurizio to get into the family business, and it definitely is helped by Al Pacino's character and Aldo Gucci. He wants to bring Adam Driver's Maurizio into the fold. He has his own son in Paolo Gucci, and that is Jared Leto in probably the worst performance I've seen Jared Leto in. Definitely hamming up his Italian accent. It almost feels like he was going for the live action Mario or something. Or there's a new animated Mario film coming soon, and I think maybe he got his wires crossed, because he's definitely hamming up his Italian accent. I really don't want to talk down on Jared Leto's performance. I really see him going for the gusto. I really see him pour himself into it, being lost in it. He gets completely lost in his character. He plays an aloof character anyways. Paolo is like this guy who has ideas, but they are definitely not approving of the Gucci family and their status in the fashion world. He's kind of shunned. He's kind of a pariah. He's casted out, definitely. But I think that Patricia, Lady Gaga's character, needs him into the fold in order to overthrow the old, come out with the, rather push out the old and in with the new. And she really does these power moves with the Gucci family. She's playing chess with each and every member of the Gucci family. And she wants to be a queen pin. She wants to kind of take over with her not being a Gucci, basically by marriage, by name. And I think Adam Driver sees her angles. And that's where the film gets interesting. But like I said, with a running time of almost 3 hours, there are definite lulls. And with the exception of Jared Leto, I think this is a great cast. It's very entertaining. I think that Ridley Scott's last film, The Last Duel, is the superior film by far, but I don't think that it's going to get the accolades that it deserves. Being such a box office bomb, went under the radar. Critically, it was a success, but no one saw it, and it's a shame because it's such a quality picture. And I really think that that film should be the one to gain the recognition come Oscar time. But with it going under the radar, getting the box office, reception that it did, I really think that The House of Gucci has a better chance for Ridley. I really think that Ridley Scott needs to be recognized in this go round for the Oscars. I think he takes it with this one, even though I found The Last Duel far superior. With that, I will give House of Gucci a recommendable 3 stars, but it wasn't as great as I wished it could have been. Thank you very much for choosing Mann Cinema Reviews, and looking forward to more. Go ahead, subscribe, keep watching, keep commenting, keep liking, and have a good one. Happy holidays.